U.S. citizens and residents who have foreign spouses or fiancés, you must watch this video so that you can make sure that you meet the current requirements of USCIS financial sponsorships, okay? Hello, I'm attorney Lee Marvin, and I specialize in immigration law, and I've been doing it for over a decade. My main office is in Grand Rapids, Michigan, but I service clients in every state and many, many countries around the globe. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. Click the subscribe feature, click the alert notification so that you get notified of future videos where I break down complex and timely immigration issues so that you and your family or friends can move forward with your immigration processes more easily, okay? Please stick around this particular video, stick around to the end, toward the end, because I provide a very important description of what I'm talking about and also a link to a document that will help you guaranteed to succeed in this process, okay? So, a little background. USCIS has different standards for immigration processes, okay? These different standards relate not just to the immigrant, but also to the sponsor of the immigrant, okay? So sponsors must show that they can both sponsor somebody for immigration purposes and for financial purposes, okay? So they want to make sure that you as a sponsor make enough money to support another immigrant entering the United States, okay? So that is what the USCIS financial standards are all about. So financial sponsorship, if you've been paying attention to immigration for the last number of years, you probably remember this. Financial sponsorship was a hot topic about 4 years ago when President Trump tried to change rules about what's called public charge. That probably rings a bell. So the public charge, he tried to make it more difficult for immigrants to be able to qualify for status in the United States. So he made a bunch of changes, including requiring credit reports, requiring a proof of medical insurance, and additional types of documentation to make sure that the immigrant sponsor had what they needed and that the immigrant wasn't going to become a public charge or dependent on the taxpayer, okay? So that fortunately was reversed because of a number of lawsuits and because of the change in administration, okay? So that was scaled back and it went back to the way it used to be and the way it was for years. Today, that is the current policy. So it's back the way it was. So it was honestly less than 6 months that the change was in place. I had a number of clients that we had to process through that time, and it was not easy, okay? So thankfully, it is much easier now. So what I'm telling you today is the current law, okay? The current policy. So basically, these relaxed protocols that are still in place requires that the sponsor prove that their income is at least 125% of the poverty line to be able to sponsor an immigrant. It actually is pretty low. 125% sounds like, oh my God, that's over 100%. Well, it really is not that bad, and I will show you that through this video, okay? So I will give you a link in the example. Basically, look at the link. Here's the link now to this chart that the government has that shows what you need to make. So as an example, a sponsor with a family of 2 that's bringing in a third person, so a family of 3 now, must show that they can make at least $31,075 on average over the last 3 tax years to be able to qualify. So $31,000, again, I'm not judging anyone, but that is not a lot of money, right? Especially for a family of 3, that's nothing. So it's just above the poverty line. So that protocol is in place. Check out the chart that we posted here with a link to it so you can see the different levels of family members versus income, okay? That is the key to this process, so take a look at that. So the financial sponsorship for a fiancé visa process is much simpler because the government looks, instead of 3 years, they look at the last year or the current year, okay? So they still apply the same numerical figure, which is 125% of the poverty line, but it's easier to show that you meet that requirement because either you show your taxes or you can get a letter from an employer saying that this is your job, this is how many hours you work, this is how much you get paid, and you can use that to qualify for the fiancé visa part. So much easier for fiancé visas, but that is how they figure out whether you can meet the obligation for financial sponsorship. So again, this video is intended to give you an idea of how the financial sponsorship part works. It's not a detailed explanation of the fiancé visa or the spouse visa process, but you're in luck because I've already done that. So again, subscribe to my channel, take a look. I have a link right here, Bing, that will take you to those videos because I break it down for you and explain how this works and what you need to know in order to be able to do this. So check out those videos. You can call for questions. You can set up a consultation. But I would encourage you to look at the videos first because that might be enough for you, okay? You might have a general question about how it works. When you get to the point where you actually want to do it, you're going to want to call me, okay? Because again, even though it seems simple, it's tricky. The government is very strict, and they especially don't like when people do it themselves. They give people a darn hard time when they do it themselves. So I get a lot of people coming to me after the fact, and often I won't help people because it's a heck of a lot more difficult to fix a problem than to avoid it. It's a lot cheaper. It's a lot easier just to call an attorney beforehand. So reach out to me. You can click on the following link, boom, that gives you a link to scheduling a consultation, but you can look at all of our free information before you do that, okay? So please remember, subscribing to our channel is key for you. If you have friends or family, have them subscribe because this is how you save a lot of time and money by looking at these different videos. But reach out to me. Again, don't do this yourself. If it's not me you're calling, call some other attorney. It's not worth doing this yourself and going through a denial or request for evidence or the crazy things that happen today with immigration, okay? It is the era of humane immigration, but that doesn't mean that they're going to make it easy for you, okay? So reach out. I want to help you succeed.